Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael Noland. Tonight we're going to be talking about John Mellencamp. I remember back when Jack and Diane hit the airwaves. My brother and I were listening to the radio when we first heard it, and I told him right then and there, that is a #1 hit. From that point on, I collected everything the man did. I loved this guy as an artist up to around the late 90s when it seemed that he hit his artistic stride. Everything after that didn't really impress me. But one thing I can say for absolute sure, folks, is I never thought that John Mellencamp was a hypocrite, but that's exactly what he is, and tonight I get to prove my point. All right, so like I said, I have been a fan from the very start of this guy. I was a fan of John Cougar. I was a fan of John Cougar Mellencamp, and I was even a fan, up to a point, like I said, of John Mellencamp himself. You know, as a lyricist, this guy has proven that he thinks beyond the end of his nose, that he has discernment, but in the last few years, it seems like he's going off his own rocker a bit. He's been showing up on the theater circuit, and evidently he is here to instruct us that he is now theater, not a concert, okay? And there is a difference, that there needs to be a decorum shown in a theater, and evidently he's very disappointed in some of his fans that have shown up to see him. Now, to get what I'm talking about, we've got to go to an article, folks, and that's what I want to do here. First of all, like I said, the man's been hitting the theater circuit, and he seems to think that that gives him the right to preach. Evidently, he goes off on anti-USA rhetoric, and the fans get a little upset with it, and that's when he starts barking back. But let's take a look at this article from the very start. It says, John Mellencamp has a clear message to fans planning to attend his shows. Now notice they use the word shows there. Behave or just stay home. It goes on to say that the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer recently hit the road for his 2024 live and in-person tour. Now, here's what he's got to say about this, all right? Now, pay attention, folks, because this is where the man falls short as far as I'm concerned. I do expect etiquette inside the theater, the same way you would at a Broadway show. My shows are not really concerts anymore. They're performances, and there is a difference between a performance and a concert. He goes on to say, look, I'm not for everyone anymore. I'm just not. And if you want to come and scream and yell and get drunk, don't come to my show. Now that's interesting. John wants decorum at his show. And if it's a matter of decorum, I would agree. But this is all coming after a couple of outbursts by the man himself. You know, it was just in 2023 where John Mellencamp told fans at one of his concerts to, and I quote, keep your f***ing mouths shut. What happened to decorum, John? I thought that this was a theater experience, not a food fight. But, you know, it didn't stop there. At another time last year, a fan called out and said, just play the freaking music. But what was John's response to the audience because of this one fan? He turned to them and said, if these people don't shut the fuck up, I'm just gonna leave, okay? Because I'm not used to this kind of crap. Look, guys, if I wanted to play in this type of drunken environment, I'd play outside or I'd play in an arena. Now, the article goes on to say this. Then last month, things reached another cantankerous height. At a show in Toledo, Ohio, Mellencamp became outraged at a heckler in the crowd who told him, "Play some music." That fan didn't even use any profanity. What was John's response? "What do you think I've been doing, you sucker?" Oh, he went on. He says, "Here's the thing, man. You don't know me. You don't know me. Hey, Joe, find this guy and let me see him after the show." But after that, Mellencamp later stormed off the stage, seemingly cutting the performance short. However, he eventually returned to play a few more songs. Well, thanks, John. You actually did what you were paid to do. Now, I don't know what it is with some of these artists that I've loved in the past, especially some of the lyricists out there. John Mellencamp is a fabulous lyricist. So is Roger Waters. So is Bruce Springsteen. But none of these guys can keep their mouth shut about their own political agendas. This man says he's at a theater giving a theater show when in fact he's doing the very same thing that Roger Waters often does, and with the same response, I might add. And his shows have become nothing more than induction centers. But despite that, they're all great lyricists. And here's where I think they all go wrong. You see, Roger Waters, John Mellencamp, and Bruce Springsteen, they are great at coming up with ideas and even writing lyrics that sell their own political agendas. But you know what? I'm a songwriter too, and here's a clue for you all. When you're writing a song, you write it out cold. Then you cross out this word, you add another one. Oops, that one didn't work. You try a third one until you finally got it right. These guys are perfect for that kind of thinking. But in the moment, at a concert, and I don't care what John Mellencamp is calling this, this is not just a theater because you're in a theater. It is a concert. You're there to play freaking music, and people are getting absolutely annoyed with artists who are turning everything they show up for into a political campaign. Oh, and by the way, John, it's real brave of you to turn to one of your minions and tell him to look that guy up because you want to talk to him after the show. Ooh, what a tough guy you are. But you see, this gets back to a point that I have made on this channel time after time after time. Just because these guys are even on a genius level when it comes to writing a song and writing out lyrics, that don't make them necessarily world pundits. You see, John Lennon was a world pundit who was also a pop star. And it seems like everybody from Bono to Bruce to Roger to John are all thinking that they're reincarnations of the great John Lennon. You're not. You never have been. The man was an anomaly. He happened to be a world pundit who happened to also be a pop star. A record deal doesn't make you a freaking philosopher. What the hell happens to the egos on these maniacs? Well, all I can say is I will not be showing up at a John Mellencamp concert, and that's too bad because I really did appreciate his work, like I said, up until the 90s and perhaps even through the 90s. But the man has lost his voice. On top of that, he's getting older, and evidently his brain cells aren't working real good because he talks about decorum and then gives his very audience in that very moment a lesson on what decorum is not. All right, folks, that's the video for tonight. I wasn't even going to do a video today, but I saw this article and it made my blood boil. But I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. It helps the video reach a wider audience. And if you haven't subscribed to this thing we call the Tribe, why not now? All you have to do is hit that subscribe to the Tribe button tap that top bell icon. You gotta tap that thing, because otherwise you may or may not be notified of all of my future videos. All right, I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line, again, only as I see it. The real bottom line on this channel is always in the comments. I have people voting me down consistently on this channel. I just start the dialogue, folks. The real story is in the comments, where we are the tribe.